morning. Welcome to Morning Moments. You won't believe this. I got Nora's dream creation on the line, Burt, and I am so privileged to be able to have the lady who makes these jean jackets and these memory quilts. I never know who I'm going to be connected with, and just like Sue says, I never know how God's going to use her either. But here we are. We got connected, and Burt is on the line, or going to be have this recorded interview for Morning Moments. Sue, welcome to Morning Moments.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Where are you located at?
I live in Prosper, Texas, which is in the Dallas metro area.
Nice area. I love that Metroplex. I haven't been there for a while, but I love the Metroplex.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a big change, but I'll talk about that a little bit in my story.
Yeah. Well, tell me what do you do and why do you do it? You got a beautiful quilt behind you, and I think there's a story behind those quilts. So what do you do and why do you do it?
Okay, well, that's kind of a broad question, and I'll try to answer that succinctly here. I actually am an artisan living in Prosper, Texas, and I create beautiful things that bring joy to others. Only when I started this business, I didn't know that. I didn't know it would bring so much joy to others, and I had no idea it would bring joy to me. In the last 3 years, I've had quite a few life twists. So if 3 years ago, someone had said to me, you're going to be forced into early retirement, your job is going to be eliminated, and that's going to happen, I would have said, no way. I am important. I am part of this company. I am a senior finance manager at a large international corporation with a portfolio of important clients. Doesn't that sound boring?
Yeah.
So boring.
Yeah.
But I would have not believed that. The second thing, if somebody had said to me, you're going to start a business based on the idea from a 12-year-old, I would have said, get out of here. What does a 12-year-old know? If somebody had told me 3 years ago, as many of us, there's going to be a worldwide pandemic and the US, we're going to shut down, your business is going to be impacted, I would have said, no way, Jose. I live in the US of A. We have vaccines for that kind of thing, right? And 3 years ago, if someone had told me, you're going to leave your comfortable life in Wisconsin, you're going to leave your well-loved church, you're going to leave the beautiful area, you're going to leave your family, you're going to leave your myriad of friends, and you're going to move cross country to Texas, I would have said, well, why would I do that? But in Jeremiah 29:11, which is one of my key verses, my life key verses, the Lord says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope. And the key word in that verse to me is you. I know the plans I have for you. And his plans were not my plans. His view was not my view. So I would say to your listeners, don't be afraid to embrace change, because you will learn and you will grow. And at the very least, you're going to rely more on God because he knows what's around the corner, but you don't. So I would never predicted any of those things, and yet they all happened. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how Nora's dream creation started. My granddaughter, and she is one of my favorite granddaughters, brought me a picture of a beautiful jacket, and she said, Grandma, can we do this? And I said, oh, sure. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. So at that time, I was just heading out on a cross-country trip. And so I said, yeah, I'll start looking for jackets. And so I found 6. I said, yeah, these will work. I brought them home, redesigned them, made them beautiful, gave them to Nora and said, here you go, Nora, you can go ahead and sell them. And I'll show a few samples of those. But they were so darn cute. They were very unique, one of a kind, beautiful jackets. And so I thought, I could do this. I remember I'd been forced into retirement. I thought I could do this. So I started on a quest for finding gently used jackets that I could make my own design and create it And then I started the company named Nora's Dream Creations. And you know what? I see jean jackets everywhere, everywhere. And here's, as I've been working in this company, the picture of taking something that has been discarded for whatever reason. It's not loved anymore. It's discarded. It has no value to anybody. And to pick that up and restore it and resurrect it into a new fashion statement, to me, just paralyzes what Christ does in our lives.
Oh,
You know, in 2 Corinthians, where it says, therefore, if any man is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things have become new. And that's exactly what I'm doing with these. I'm not only recycling and repurposing, but I'm bringing joy. My customers, they love it that they have the only one of these. And it's beautiful. And it brings something that is boutique quality down to an affordable level for them. And did I mention that each jacket, they're all girls. They're all girls. They each have their own name because they're all unique. And so just as an example, here is one that's named Morning Mist. And it's a beautiful pink jacket with a gorgeous embroidery fabric in it that's sheer. Well, I named her Morning Mist because of, you know, in the sunrise, when there's just that light pink streak across the sky with the gray clouds. That's what it reminded me of. Here's one that's called Morning Dove. It is not denim, it is cotton, but it's got beautiful gray lace on it that I added. And that's the color of the morning doves that were on my deck every morning in Wisconsin. I go out for my coffee, the morning doves would come, and that's their color. So just like these jackets, we are unique to God. He knows our name. He knows the number of hairs on our head. He knows our heart. And, you know, the beautiful picture in Isaiah 49 where it says, see, I have engraved you on the palm of my hand. That's what God is saying. I have engraved you on the palm of my hand. That is so beautiful. And through this, I have experienced freedom to create beautiful things and to realize that even though I have the skills, the creativity is from God. He gives me the inspiration of what can I put together? What does this jacket need? Who's gonna, and I envision who's gonna buy it, who likes this, who is this gonna make their day? And you know what? I didn't know that I had that creativity until after I left the corporate world. And I left the corporate world kicking and screaming. I mean, no, this is not my plan. So it's kind of it's a new thing for me. I'm very excited. And then the second area of my business that is really exploding right now are memory quilts, very similar to what's behind me here. These are made out of t-shirts. I have done quilts for sports athletes, high school kids, college grads, Harley Davidson. That one was really interesting. Sorority sisters. I mean, it goes on and on. And that's fun. I just did one for an Eagle Scout. His mom cried when she picked it up. But my most joy comes from the ones that I make for a memory quilt of someone who has passed away. It's such an honor, and I am so humbled to be entrusted with this. For example, before I left Wisconsin, I did 3 quilts for a young man, for a young man's family. He was 26 and he was killed in a snowmobile accident. And I want you to know, when I handle and touch these private, personal things, to me, it's a reverence. Well, his mom, I made one for his mom, one for his sister, and one for his fiance. His mom brought me a piece of his baby quilt to put into her quilt. I shed tears. I mean, I was so honored and so touched to do that. And I wish I could describe to you the faces of these people when they pick up their quilt. They're just taken aback. There's tenderness, there's joy, there's a little sorrow, there's tears, but it's like a tangible item they can wrap up in the memory of this loved one that's gone. So my joy is to make something meaningful and beautiful for these people that they can tell me about, and they tell me their stories. They want to tell me about this person. What were they like? What did they do? What was their personality? What was their job? All of those things. And I translate that into a beautiful quilt made from the shirts and the t-shirts that they have actually worn. I met a man who lives 60 miles from here. He crossed my path, and he wanted 2 quilts made. His wife had passed away from cancer, and he wanted 2 quilts made for his daughters, which I did, and they were beautiful with her favorite colors and so on. He sent me pictures. He presented those quilts to his daughters on Mother's Day this year. And it was just priceless to see them smile and looking at this. And it was just awesome. And now he needs one for his son. So I guess my work is not done. So I guess I'm pleased that it has been such a success. And I guess I'm shocked that God has entrusted me with the creative bent to come up with something meaningful and comforting, to other people. And I'm hoping, as this grows, I'm hoping to be able to speak to women's groups, tell my story. It's never too late to start something new, and it's never too late to be obedient, right? Never, never too late to be obedient, because this was not my plan. This was God's plan. And I'm in both feet. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. I get to be in my happy place, my sewing room, making beautiful things that bring other people joy. And that's what I do.
There are some of you that's listening to this video and you're going, that I needed that because I'm going through grief. I just interviewed a grief counselor. And matter of fact, we're going to probably be putting these morning moments on the same week as that grief counselor, as you were talking. And some of you are going, what can I do with my grief? This may be a place that you need to contact. And this may be the area for closure that you need. There are also some of you that your life has changed because of jobs changed, careers change, early retirement, and you're going, what do I do now? Some of you may need to look down below and find out Sue's name, not just to buy a quilt or not to buy a jacket, please do that, but maybe to talk to her and say, I do this, what can you suggest? And she sounds to me like she's willing to talk to you about, this is what I did, this is this is the lessons I learned to get me there. There is a reason we're connected today. God's got a plan, a future, and a hope for each one of you. There are some of you who are listening to this, and it's been 6 months since it's been interviewed. It's been a year since this has been on. And you're going, I just listened to it now. Well, there's a reason for that. God's got a plan, a hope for the future for you. And he will use your passions to find his purpose. And you will be able to reach and touch people's life just like Sue has, and will be touching Sue's life. So I want you to look down below at the websites and get a hold of her. But also, when this interview is over, I want you to take a few moments and stop and pray for Sue and her family, that God would continue to put them right in the palm of his hand. God's got you in the palm of his hand. He's got a future hope and a plan for you. And I want you to be praying for her, that God would continue to use her, no matter what platform you heard this in today, that God would continue to use her. Sue, thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Any closing thoughts? We just got 1 or 2 minutes left. Any closing thoughts before we go?
I guess don't ever try to predict what your future is going to be. You can work towards it, you can make plans, but things may change. And even if it seems harsh and negative at the time, it can be something really wonderful in the future. But you got to be open to it. You have to embrace it and say, okay, that's where we're going. All right, then let's go.
He brings beauty into ashes, doesn't he?
Yes,
Uh,
right.
from ashes he brings beauty, and what the enemy wanted for evil he's going to make good in you. All things work together for those who are called according to his purpose and that love God. Don't forget that part, that love God. So if you love God, things will work out for you. And I don't understand how, but God's going to do that for you. Thank you so much for sharing and giving a what's on your heart today, and may God bless you today.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you for joining us for Morning Moments. Pass this on to somebody else and keep coming back for some more morning moments.